Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with a Saturday morning sun, plopped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, and we'll try your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning, we watched Sym-Bionic Titan. Every time I see that, or every time I try to say it, I pause because I'm like, how is it said? How do you say it?
Yeah, I have the same problem. I keep wanting to say symbiotic because I'm thinking about venom and stuff, you know?
Right.
Like
yeah, which is kind of what it is, but it's it's combined with bionic. It's like, I get it. I think it's what it is. The hyphen is throwing me off.
Yeah.
And it causes me to pause for a second. And so coming into the show, I didn't know what to expect at all by that name. I thought it was going to be really dumb. I was very wrong.
Coming into the show, you were just so mad that you couldn't pronounce it.
I was so mad. I was going to protest watching it just based on the name itself. And yet, on the other side of it, I'm pleasantly surprised.
There you go. Well, at least there's some positivity there.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Who suggested this to us?
This was suggested to us by Greed1347 via SoundCloud. So either bots have gotten clever and have started actually watching TV shows and suggested this, or there's one real person on SoundCloud that is not a bot, and that one person found our show.
Yeah, nobody watches our stuff on SoundCloud. That's interesting.
No, never. Like every SoundCloud is just bots, man. That's it. Bots, and then just, really bad rappers. That's all SoundCloud is.
Or rapper bots. Like, I get
rapper bots. Oh,
like we get those messages all the time. That's like, hey, sweet track, listen to mine. It's like, ours isn't even a track. Ours is a podcast.
I love it. It's a podcast. Sweet tunes, bro.
Yeah, sweet tunes. Yeah, you might like
give
mine.
My page a shout out.
It's like, I promise I won't like yours. I'm sorry.
I know. Ugh.
So the show Sym-Bionic Titan ran from 2010 to 2011, created by Genndy Tartakovsky, Brian Andrews, and Paul Rudish, developed by Genndy Tartakovsky, produced by Orphanage Animation Studios and Cartoon Network Studios, ran for one season, 20 episodes on Cartoon Network. For a short synopsis written by TB4000, Terminator Bus 4000, I'm assuming. That's my guess.
That's what it is.
Three young alien beings with the ability to form a giant robotic warrior attempt to blend into suburbia, all while battling the tyrannical forces that ravage their home world.
Okay, fair enough.
Those are all pretty true. I mean, one of them's not an alien beings as much. I mean, he is, I guess, because he's an alien to our world. So, I don't know. Never mind.
It's not like they look like aliens, though.
No.
Like, that's always kind of like a... I don't know. When you get like someone that looks just like a regular, like an Earthling human, and you just call it a show about aliens, like it gives you like this other connotation of it's going to be someone that looks weird.
In this case, it's very like Twilight Zone aliens, where it's like, oh, they look just like us because they didn't have the budget to make them not look like us.
They're pod people.
Yeah. So who are some of the actors who played in this show?
The voice of Alana was provided by Tara Strong. Needs no introduction from us. You've heard her in Hello Kitty. She was Batgirl in a bunch of Batman stuff. She's Raven in all the Teen Titans stuff. Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. You know her. Come on. The voice of Lance was provided by Kevin Toms. The voice of Octus provided by Brian Posehn, who is one of my favorite people ever. I think he's hilarious, and he has one of my favorite voices of all time. Brian Posehn's been in things like Mission Hill, 3 South, The Sarah Silverman Program, New Girl, Deadly Class, The Big Bang Theory. He was the speeder bike taxi guy in the first episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he gets eaten by that big old ice creature thing. So that's cool. General Steel and the King was voiced by John DiMaggio, which you could absolutely tell as soon as either of those two talked that it was John DiMaggio. Again, he's got one of those remarkable voices that you can never misplace. You've heard him before. probably in things like Samurai Jack, where he voices the Scotsman, Jake from Adventure Time, Bender from Futurama, Wrath and other characters from Ben 10, like a billion different Ben 10 shows. Because are they going to do 10 Ben 10 series? Is that their goal? Because there's like 6 of them right now, I think.
Are they all called Ben 10? Like Ben 10 and the
Ben 10 something.
and the Emperor's Throne?
Ben 10, the Emperor's New Groove.
Because I was thinking, like, why not just go Ben 11, Ben 12, Ben 13?
Yeah. You know, I asked the other day, I was just like, is he perpetually 10 years old to Rochelle? Because she really likes Ben 10.
Oh.
And she's like, no, that's dumb. You're dumb for asking. So he's not 10 forever. And then finally, the voice of Solomon provided by Tim Russ, mostly known for his appearance in The Highwaymen and as Lieutenant Tuvok from Star Trek Voyager.
Oh.
And I think that character appeared in a few other Star Trek shows as well, various appearances. But yeah, that's our main cast for this show.
Yeah, something that I wanted to talk about briefly is I feel like we have a pretty good handle on voices with how much we've done this show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brian Posehn's voice is so iconic and unique that you cannot miss it.
Yes.
When you hear it, you immediately know. It's almost like Lorenzo Music's voice, who did the voice of Garfield, Peter from Real Ghostbusters. Their voice acting voice is their voice. And it's like, it doesn't need to be anything else because it's perfect. They have the perfect voices for unique characters. And it's always fun to hear them. And every time Octus, who was the character that he played in this, Brian Posehn, spoke, like, it kind of made me giggle. I mean, not only because he was telling jokes, but just because it's like, oh, I know Brian Posehn. I've met him before, and he's such a nice guy.
That's awesome. Man, you got to meet Brian Posehn? Dang.
Shadai and I were about to watch a Kevin Smith show. I think he was leaving the theater that we were watching it in because he had just done a show.
Oh, okay.
And he had a cool shirt on. I can't remember what it was exactly, but we commented on his shirt, and he was like, thank you. And then just kind of left. And so that was it.
That was such a good impression of him too. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't do it as well. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that dude so much. And for years I've wanted to see him in more things. And I'm glad that he's starting to get in some new stuff. He's got a D&D podcast too that's kind of fun.
Oh my God, does he? I got to listen to that.
I think it's called Nerd Chess or something like that, or Nerd Poker. That's what it is. Nerd Poker.
Nice.
But it's him and some other guys playing D&D. Yeah, he's just a lovely guy. He's a great comic book writer too. He worked on Deadpool with Jerry Dugan for a while, and it was the best Deadpool run I've ever read. So there you go.
He also did that Last Christmas comic. I don't know if you read it or not.
I have not read it, no.
Okay, I won't go into it too much. I just remember it being like a kind of a hyper-violent Christmassy kind of thing, but in a comical way.
That sounds like something he would do. So
for Few Tasty Marshmallows over a big bowl of Sym-Bionic cereal. See, I didn't pause that time. I did it. I made it through the word.
You did it. I'm proud of you, sort of.
The show tends to make references to classic giant robot anime series from the 1970s, such as Grandizer from 1975, which I had never heard of the show by name, Grandizer, but when you see the imagery of the mech that it's talking about, because I looked it up, you're like, oh, that's who that is.
Okay.
The hometown of Ilana, Lance, and Octus whilst on Earth is Sherman, Illinois. Creator Genndy Tartakovsky is quoted as saying that one of his primary influences when working on the series was John Hughes films, most of which are set in Shermer, Illinois.
I guess there's nothing special about Illinois. Don't put anything there. Guys, I'm sorry to everyone in Illinois. Yeah, I grew up in Illinois for, 22 years. I think I lived there 22 years. Man, there's nothing special. Like, let's not pretend like there is. Here's the thing. Chicago, some of the cities around Chicago and some of the suburbs of Chicago are pretty cool. There's some cool stuff there. Man, the rest of it, I could just leave it. Sorry.
Sorry, Illinois listeners.
Sorry, guys.
The wave motion cannon on Solomon's ship is a direct reference to the main armament of space battleship Yamato, also known as Star Blazers in the U.S. Star Blazers I do know about. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Star Blazers.
This one I thought was interesting because we've covered this show before. Ilana and Octus made cameo appearances in OKKO Let's Be Heroes episode Crossover Nexus, which first aired in October 8th, 2018, and Tara Strong reprised her role as Alana.
I didn't realize they were in that. We watched that episode. I didn't know they were in that.
Oh, we did watch that episode. Yeah. We
Yeah.
need to rewatch it now that we know who they are.
Yep.
That was episode 171 of our show, I think. I looked it up earlier, but I didn't write it down, but I think that's what it was.
Wow. I was going to say, you have a good memory, but then you let me know that you cheated.
I'm sorry,
so
I did
whatever.
cheat. Yeah, I have a terrible memory. Okay, last thing I'll talk about is on March 29, 2011, it was reported that Sym-Bionic Titan has been canceled due to being unable to acquire a toy license.
Oh, that's sad.
That sucks, man.
That's garbage.
Of all the reasons, I thought it was going to be like low ratings or something. No, I just couldn't get a toy license. That's it.
That's dumb. What a stupid way to cancel something.
This is the worst reason. So had you ever heard of this show before?
I vaguely remember seeing the logo for this before, but that is as far as I know about it. I didn't know anything about the story, the plot, the characters, nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever even heard of it before. And I thought I had at least kind of been tangentially aware of all of Genndy Tartakovsky's work. But yeah, this completely flew under my radar. I had no idea about it. Even going into it, I didn't know it was his until I started watching it some. I'm like, oh, this art looks familiar.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a show of his. I mean, he has a very specific style, especially when it comes to faces of characters and stuff, that is just unmistakable. So right away, I was just like, yep, this is definitely, this fits the bill for sure.
Very much in the style of the Star Wars Clone Wars animated version before the CG one that he had produced or he had directed.
Nice. Yeah. I didn't know that he did that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been in a lot of places, done a lot of stuff. There's the new one he's got called Primal, which is like a caveman kind of T-Rex one. It looks awesome.
Well, and here's the thing, too. So I can see some of the seeds for Primal in the design of some of the creatures and stuff that this group faces. Because I'm thinking, like, I'm used to seeing, like, Samurai Jack and some of his older stuff. What was another one that we did
Dexter?
Not that long ago? Well, there's Dexter. What was the girl, robot girl? My Life as a Teenage Robot or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm used to thinking of him in regards to shows like that. And this one kind of followed some of that too, but also introduced some really gruesome looking monsters and some real dark stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, okay, now I can kind of see, having seen the promo for Primal, I see where that's coming from, because he really can do some very savage looking things within his style, which I think is really interesting because his style is usually kind of goofy and fun looking, you know?
Yeah, and something of note is that he actually, when asked about this show specifically, he doesn't consider it a show for kids. He wasn't going out to make a kid's show with this. This is kind of like a everybody show.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, there are kid elements to it, or at least teen elements to it with the main characters, but at the same time, it covers some very serious topics, and especially in the last episode we watched, man.
Oh, big time. And one of the episodes, Lance straight up snapped this creature. Well, this creature was disguised as a person, so it looked like he just snapped this human boy's leg. I was like, whoa!
Oh, yeah.
You just heard that crack as he kicks the leg.
When they fought Giant Kimmy, that was awesome.
Oh, man,
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
So let's go ahead and jump into the episodes for today's show. The very first episode, the highest rated episode, and finally a random listener chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how those episodes fall chronologically, but of course I have to start with the very first episode, which was Escape to Sherman High, Season 1, Episode 1. In this one, 3 survivors from a distant planet come to Earth and attempt to blend into Earth's population, attempting to do just that. Another alien creature bent on destroying the first 3. That's such a weird sentence. Also, do not forget the giant robots. And that's the last part of it.
Nice. This was the intro to this show is very short, and I can respect that because it's like, I don't know, I was expecting a lot more of a longer actiony,
something
very
grandiose.
Yeah, energetic kind of music to this intro, but it's something very subtle, very short. Because they're like, no, we need to get to the story.
Get to the meat of it. Yeah, this is just a snack before the main course, not the other way around like a lot of shows are.
So I can respect that. Kind of as we talked about, so we get our main characters introduced. They land on a spaceship, very Clark Kent style. Inside of this little ship is a princess, which is Alana, her bodyguard Lance, and they're I don't know what you would call it. They're caretaker
Yeah, like the robot caretaker
thing, Octus. And they all have sweet mech suits, which are great. Lance's is really big. But honestly, I like the design of Ilana's better, even though it's a lot smaller. It just looks really cool. It's like a golden color. It's just a very awesome looking design for both of those.
Hers is more like regal and smoother in design.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the animation of this show?
I liked it. I mean, it was what I expected it to be, but the action scenes were really well done.
Yes. Yeah. The army shows up pretty early to contain what's going on. There's a big battle. And I'm just thinking, man, this animation's awesome. Like, it's so fluid. It's so smooth. I am used to when I think of some of his other stuff, I feel like things are a lot more choppier as far as the animation goes, but this was not that way. And not saying it that something's a lot choppier makes no sense probably if you can't read my thoughts, but like I can picture stuff in my head.
Well, when I'm thinking about it, like when I think of when Dexter had giant mech battles, like it was like very few frames in there and it's kind of jumpy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or they would do those like frame holds on a shot where like let's say we'll go back to Dexter. Let's say Dexter in a big mech suit punches something and you have that like frame hold where it's just resting on that one frame and it's going like bah with the music, but it's literally just like a still shot. And maybe the color is all just red with black outline, stuff like that. This not so much in this. This is just very smooth, very, very fluid. As I said before, I really enjoyed it. It looked really good. And it's 2D, but I can tell that they used a little bit of computer animation with some of this, like especially with specifically Lance's armor in this one, as far as like it turning around in like 360 degrees, but in a 2D way. I could tell that they used some computer animation, but they did it really well. Did it way better than Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
I was about to say, yeah, this is how you do it right. Yes. I mean, granted, this had 10 years to perfect it based on when Sherlock Holmes was made, but still, this is way better. And it's noticeable, but not distracting.
Yeah. And this main episode is basically just kind of setting the stage. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit bored with the beginning of this episode. It wasn't really until stuff started really hitting the fan that it got my attention at all. So for a while, I was just kind of like, oh man. But there's some still fun parts in the beginning of it, though. I love when they made fun of the WB when they saw that television show when they're trying to learn about Earth. And that came up in the next episode we watched, which is weird because it's like tons of episodes.
Oh, I know. I love when that happens, when like we see something that happens in the first episode and then we see a follow-up to it later in just a random episode we see. So they connect well sometimes. Yeah, so in this one, they have the basic like high school shows on the WC, which is what it's called in here. And it's just showing you kind of the teen drama going on. And they're basing their new personas on this because Octus is like, okay, so people your age on Earth are going to this thing called high school. So that's what you need to do to blend in. And so that's kind of what sets the stage for sending them to high school and the drama that ensues based on all of that.
I loved it. The thing was like in that commercial they saw, it was like nothing but teenagers making out. And then the announcer's like, but he has a dark secret. And he's like, I can't read.
And then they start making out again. Yeah.
And that's what comes up in the next episode. Like, just randomly, this character, Kimmy's talking to her friends. It was just like, he can't read? Oh, my DVR took a crap. I can't use it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, there's like 20-something episodes, I think, in between these two. So I'm surprised that happened, but
yeah, that was great. This is episode 1. That was episode 12. So 11 episodes in between.
Yeah, 20 episodes
20
in between
something
that.
episodes.
Yeah. I can do math. I'm math good. Okay.
You math good. So Modula, I think his name was, like, he used to be the king's like assistant or bodyguard or something, his general. And he like we're going back to their planet, which was a Gala Luna. Yeah, Gala Luna. And we see the king held captive, whose voice is obviously John DiMaggio's. We can hear that. And then Modula is there, like Modula looks kind of like he reminds me of a monkey in a way, or like an ape or something.
Yeah.
And just the way his jowl is.
It's a very baboonish looking face.
Right.
Because it's like that skinny face, but framed by very parted hair, like a parted beard.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, so I was thinking, I was getting kind of a Mojo Jojo vibe from him almost, but like
Same.
an aged one. Yeah. And then, so he's explaining to him how he's now working, or he's leading the Mutrati tribe, which are the enemy beasts who are on this planet. Then they're talking about how, or he's trying to get out of him, like where his daughter is. And eventually he's able to do it by kind of reading his mind in a way.
Yeah, and basically kind of discovering that she's on Earth.
He also calls out his pet to hunt down the princess, which is, when we see it at first, just a giant like fire, a streak of flame just kind of goes out and starts heading towards Earth.
Fire kaiju, dude.
Yeah.
It was awesome. My immediate thought was Lava Jesus when it landed.
He sends Lava Jesus
it's
after
Lava
him.
Jesus.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a big old fire kaiju. It was awesome. It started destroying the city, and like it legit destroyed the city. I mean, it blew this giant hole right in the middle of it and had to have killed tons of people. And that's like where I get where he said, hey, this wasn't for kids, because right there I was just like, ooh, man, that's dark for a kid's TV show.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It's more the implication than it is actually showing that happening. But it's like you're seeing these buildings being burned down, so you can assume it's pretty grim. Then we go back to high school, and they're having sloppy joes for lunch.
Oh, God, that lunch lady. Oh, God. That was gross.
Yeah, it showed it in the first frame, and she looks pretty gross, and it zooms back in on her, and she's even grosser the second time around.
Oh, that's one of those times that, I don't know, usually just the face of a person can't gross you out too much, but that one got me. That one got me bad. Like, I balked at that one. I was like, oh, God.
Something I thought was really interesting was, so they've all got their personas. Lance and Alana are having to play siblings. Lance and Alana Lunas. And Octus is now this, like, giant, nerdy guy named Newton.
I love it. He's so goofy shaped. He's just giant.
He is. But he's giant, but he's lovable. And they're talking about the hierarchy of everyone and how the cheerleaders are the most dangerous group there, and they will like determine your social hierarchy or whatever. And then everyone's saying like, or everyone's trying to fit in different ways, I guess. But ironically, the one who fits in the most is Octus, and Ilana, even though she's trying to like make peace and blend in with everyone, is standing out the most.
Yeah.
I don't even remember all the things she was saying, but it's completely alien language to all these kids.
I liked Lance when he gets... So I did not like Lance until we got to see him in the high school setting around other teenagers and stuff. And then I really liked him because it was really funny about how he's got kind of a bad attitude most of the time. And like that teacher, when introducing him, was like, oh, do you want to say something to class? He's like, no. And all the girls are like, oh, ooh.
Yeah, so mysterious.
Like hearts in their eyes.
Yeah.
But I love it because he basically becomes like the emo edge boy,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's hilarious. And it just keeps getting him like these people like fawning over him from afar because of it. And I love that.
You know who he reminded me of was, I think it was Jason from Gotcha Man or from Battle of the Planets.
Yeah, I could see that. I was going to say Keith from Voltron Legendary Defender.
Yeah, that too. I guess those are all very similar characters in the way that they look.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if he was kind of based off of an archetype like that,
I think so. Just based on what Genndy Tartakovsky was talking about his inspirations, just seeing some of those. Yeah. I know Voltron was one of them, so that would make sense.
That's a huge, yeah. Also, I love the depiction of jocks in this cartoon. You can tell how Genndy feels about jocks. Oh my God.
Huge.
They're just these giant, ridiculous, stupid dudes taking turns punching each other, and they're just, oh my God, it's hilarious.
Oh, and when they're in the lunchroom and Lance is sitting down at this this table alone, he accidentally sits at their table. And so when they come in and try to take it from him, he fights and beats up all of them. And kind of gets cheered
So
on
everyone at
because
school
of
loves
it.
him.
Yeah.
So they're kind of torn when the fire kaiju shows up, because they're like, Lance's thing is we're here to keep Ilana safe and blend in. We can't intervene because that'll compromise our position. On the other hand, Ilana's like, no, this creature is here killing and hurting these people because of me. We have to do something. And then you've got Octus as kind of the middleman there, and he agrees with both sides, but ultimately they go to fight it because he's like, we typically help when people need help, so we should do that, but our primary goal is to maintain secrecy. So he's basically kind of like, we can do both,
but they are getting their butts kicked at first, hard. What's interesting is they don't know about the whole Sym-Bionic thing until I guess things get to the point where they are going to be defeated if they don't do something, because this fire beast is nothing they're doing is affecting it at all. So it comes to a point where they just sort of all go into kind of a trance and merge together, which enables the Sym-Bionic defense mode, and they become basically Megazord or Titan in this case, and or Voltron.
I was thinking that. I was like, it felt like they just went full on Voltron here.
Yeah. It's the combination of heart, body, and mind. Heart being Ilana, body being Lance, and then mind being Octus, combining together into a single form, creating this Titan. And it's not like they're driving it like you see in Voltron, where they're all separately piloting it. They're kind of all floating up there in kind of a void together and just commanding it with their minds. So
yeah, that was cool.
It was an interesting take on that. Yeah.
Yeah, their consciousnesses we're all connected, and I like how that worked a lot. That was pretty cool. So I guess it's kind of part Voltron, part Captain Planet, part, I don't know, the Stepford Cuckoos from X-Men. They hive mind it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that was cool.
We're going to keep going back to Voltron just because of the similarities, but I wanted to say,
yes, when
they wanted to summon a weapon, they're still trying to figure it out, because not even Octus knew about this form. So they're like, well, just think about it. And so Lance thinks about this giant sword and then is able to form one and kind of slices this thing in half, but not before they take it to the water. They think they defeat it after they get it to the water because it's a giant fire beast, but then it comes out, it's kind of a magma rock looking beast, which is even cooler looking. Yeah. The battle continues. That's when Solomon starts coming towards them.
Shows up. Yeah. Solomon's cool, dude. I love his design.
God, Solomon looks so evil, or he looks devious. Yeah. Just his appearance.
I don't know exactly what his story is. We just know that he's working with the military in some aspect. But yeah, I love that design a lot. It feels almost like a little bit of Vash the Stampede mixed with Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze definitely got that, yeah.
Yeah, because of the eyes or the
goggles,
glasses. Yeah, it was cool. I liked it a lot. I like his design, and he's an interesting character that I definitely want to know more about.
Yeah, he feels like an anti-hero in a way where he's doing what's right, but it's all a means to an end for him.
But yeah, I mean, of course, the heroes triumph over evil, and they come out ahead and get to maintain their status quo in high school.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
What's Newton supposed to be to the others? So they're supposed to be brother and sister, the Lunases. What's Newton supposed to be?
He's just supposed to be
like a cousin?
I guess he's just supposed to be a cousin or a friend or something, because in the third episode, we see that he also plays the dad of the household. So, yeah, I don't know. They don't really touch on that. I guess he's just a friend. So the second episode we watched for today's show was The Ballad of Scary Mary, season 1, episode 12. I chose this one because it has a horror element to it, so I had to see how they did it.
I had a really hard time not thinking of Scary Terry when you first told me the name of this episode.
I was thinking that too.
I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
I like it.
But it's basically Carrie, if you think about it.
Yes.
Kimmy takes Newton to Sherman High's annual Scary Mary party, and Ilana and Lance reluctantly go along. A Mutrati shapeshifter lands in the woods nearby and infiltrates the party, disguising itself as various of the humans present.
That's not a correct sentence, but I get the gist.
Yeah, I see what they're saying.
I like how this opens up with the whole like 1950s vibe, and this prank gets pulled on this girl where they take her to a barn. They tar and feather her when she thinks she's going to go to prom with the guy of her dreams. She runs into the woods. She's never heard from again. So now it's tradition with this high school to go to that same barn and have a party once a year and do a seance to try to talk to Scary Mary, as they ended up calling her. So very cool intro to it. And I love, I like urban legend type stories like that. That's just fun for me.
What I thought was funny was that Newton, he's dating one of the cheerleaders, and it's such an interesting dynamic between them. It's like, it doesn't quite make sense, but especially when you see them talking, he's just very, blunt and trying to converse in the best way that he understands it as a robot trying to be human. But she accepts all of it and just thinks he's joking around. And it's really good. Like, the dialogue is just fantastic. It's so well written.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like, I'm very surprised too that he ended up dating a cheerleader. The idea that he's the one succeeding more than everybody else, I think is hilarious. And I just love it. I mean, because here's the thing. The best way to describe him to me is he's very similar in a way to Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot more people have probably seen that than have seen this show. So if we're going to describe him, he's a lot like Baymax, just a little bit less childlike. But even his body is kind of shaped that way. So like when you picture like a nerdy looking dude, but with like the proportions of Baymax, and that's what he looks like.
Yeah, he's a great beefy, nerdy dude. I love the way he looks, and just all of it. Every time he's on screen, I'm laughing. It's just great.
I like how he's trying to like simulate himself having fun. Like when they're first showing up to the party, and like Kimmy's like yelling out the window, like "woo," and people are honking their horns, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, woo hoo! I'm honking the horn.
This is fun." Yeah. It's great.
That was great.
And then when he's kind of challenged to a burping contest, I love how it goes into his perspective, and he's trying to calculate how burps work by like scanning this guy's body. And then
that burp. Oh my God.
It was this monster burp. So good.
Like I could feel like my body shaking. Like it was so powerful. It went through the screen and made my body shake.
It reminded me of the burps you do that I have to cut out of episodes because you'll interrupt you'll interrupt your own sentences with burps.
Yeah. I'm very like I have a problem like Rick from Rick and Morty that you guys will never hear because he has to edit it all the time. But I constantly like I don't know why I just burp in between sentences sometimes, and I don't even like feel it coming. It's just that my mouth is open and it happens. And then I gotta like keep going with the sentence. But.
So gassy. So gassy.
I know.
Oh, so Lance and this other goth chick start talking. And this goth chick is like someone who I'd have been super into in high school.
Oh, me too. I was thinking the same. I was just like, oh, I like this one. And I don't know. Like I was really sad how things went right there. But like I could tell that's gonna lead to something down the line, so that's fun.
Yeah, and it does kind of close out nicely. Well, in a way with her, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, I felt the same way. I felt kind of sad for her at that moment because it's basically like so she's talking to Lance, and then Ilana's talking to this really dorky kind of shaggy like guy named Jason.
Oh, that dude was funny.
He's so clumsy. Yeah, he's hilarious. Like, he keeps tripping over everything or dropping everything he picks up. But he and Ilana are getting along, so they're chatting, and he's just like, don't mess this up, don't mess this up. But then, like, they both get pulled away by Newton, who has discovered that there's been, like, a rift in the woods near them. And the rift is what the creatures are using, the Mutrati are using to kind of transport from their home planet to Earth. So anytime they sense a rift, they have to be aware of it and investigate. So they both get pulled away from the people they're talking to, Lance gets pulled away from the goth girl, and she's talking about like being left alone or something, and it just felt like a really sad moment.
Yeah, because she said something along the lines of like, I said hi to you once before and you totally blew me off. And she looks over and he's gone again.
And she's just
And I was like,
yeah.
oh, it sucks.
What happens is, so Jason gets pulled away, or not gets pulled away, but like Jason, the guy who Alana's talking to, goes out for drinks, and in the process, he gets replaced by that Mutrati shapeshifter because when they go to investigate the rift, they find just a shell of an alien, a shell of Mutrati, so they think it's dead, and so they don't look anymore into it. And then Jason gets replaced by this shapeshifter, and you see it kind of start to form a blade with its arm, and it's about to assassinate Ilana.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Lance sees it and attacks it to stop it.
Yeah, that was kind of a brutal fight, too. Like, that's the one where, like, Lance, like, snaps its leg. And I was just surprised to hear that again, in what I assumed would be a kid's TV show. It was pretty wild.
And then we see Kimmy, who is the girl who's dating. I feel like we're trying to explain a teen show right now.
Yeah.
Kimmy, the girl who's dating Octus/Newton, like her ex comes back to try to win her back, whose name is Brandon. And he's just like this big jock dude. And I loved the conversation, or I love the interaction he had with Octus at this point, because he's just like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to get you. And he's like, well, did you want my phone number? It might be easier for you to find me. And he's just being so literal about it. And they think he's trying to burn him. And so they're just like, ooh, burn. But he's just is trying to be helpful.
He's just so naive.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So the thing that was pretending to be Jason kind of disappears back into the crowd, keeps shape-shifting. Behind the scenes, so Kimmy's ex, God, it is like discussing a teen drama, isn't
right?
It? Him and his buddies are rigging up a special thing for the party, which is the quote-unquote seance where they speak out loud asking for, Mary's spirit to come. And they get like, one of their friends up on this fishing line or like rope dressed as Mary to fly around and stuff out of this barn. And so we see him be like, hey, are you ready to do this? And it nods. But it's actually the creature. And we see that the real kid that was going to do it is either asleep or knocked out or something in the back, or dead. I don't know. Maybe he's dead. So that thing's floating around and everyone's like cheering and stuff, but then like it floats up by itself and is like hovering in the air and starts changing. And oh my God, it looked awesome.
Yeah.
Like it transformed to this super ghoulish looking scary thing and everyone starts screaming and running. And I was just like, this is great.
It was great. It really felt like a horror movie at that point. I was super excited. Yeah.
That was cool.
And that's kind of what sets off the fight. But I did like everything leading up to the fight where it's like they're just trying to rush everybody out of there, like just trying to get everyone home or driving away. And I like Kimmy's interaction with Octus or Newton, who was just like, I'm not going anywhere. And he's just like, you have to go. And Brandon drives by, her ex drives by and is like, get in the car. Octus just kind of like grabs her and like sits her in there. And it's like, basically just drive off. So, because he needs to stay behind and he doesn't want her to be there too. And I like that kind of led to her being upset with him later, but we'll talk about that when we get there. And this is where the fight really ensues because they have to turn gigantic in their Sym-Bionic Titan form. And I like that this at first is just the beast fighting as it is. And then it transforms into Kimmy, like a giant Kimmy.
Man.
And it distracts Octus because even though he doesn't have like quote unquote real feelings because he's a robot, he's still sort of like, he's like, I don't understand why I'm distracted, but I can't focus right now because of the way that he looks. Like he's hesitating. And so he's able to like finally get past that. And they pull out this really cool mace. Like they summon a mace, which is awesome. So that shows me that they're able to summon like different weapons based on their needs at the time. It's not just always a giant sword. So I thought that was interesting. As they're fighting and kind of like punching the thing, like it's transforming to different forms. It's like going back and forth. At one point, it turns into Lance, and I think it turns into Ilana at one point. And so it's just going back and forth through all these forms, trying to like adapt, I guess, to the situation. And so that was just a really cool, again, like giant kaiju mech fight.
I also really liked the design for like the giant Kimmy. She was so scary looking, like the big old claw fingers, and those like reddish pink eyes and the teeth and everything.
As silly as that sounds,
So
like
good.
giant Kimmy, like it is actually a really cool fight.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
I really liked it. Yeah, that was cool.
So they finally are able to defeat it, and they're talking to Newton later, and he's just like, I don't know what I feel. I guess I feel love when she's around, or if not love, I at least feel happiness or something. And it's kind of a deep moment where it's like, it really kind of goes to what is AI capable of feeling, if anything at all. And so it just kind of makes you think.
Yeah, I really like that. That's one of my favorite parts about the show was, and one of the gripes I had with the first episode is I didn't feel a lot of emotion tied to it, but I definitely felt it here with the idea of they're questioning what Octus is doing with Kimmy, because Kimmy really is kind of in love with him, which was kind of a surprise to me, honestly, because I expected her to follow the stereotype of like the shallow cheerleader kind of thing. But no, she's like actually does really like him. And then they're just kind of questioning because it's like, I mean, you're a robot. You don't have those kind of feelings and stuff, right? And he's like, no, I mean, I don't know, but I do feel happy when she's around and stuff. So they kind of were like, oh, okay, well then that's cool. Like you do you, man. And they're happy for him. And I liked that a lot. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, but you have to focus on the mission first, right? And he's just like, right. And then that's when Jason comes in, the really like dorky guy, and pulls Alana away. And then Kimmy comes back for Octus. At first, she just like shrugs him off and she's like super mad at him. And then she's like, all right, you have 2 minutes to explain what you did last night or why you did what you did. And so she pulls him away. And then Lance is just walking on his own, and he happens to walk by the goth girl, and he's just like, hey, as he walks by. And that kind of like makes up for leaving her alone, I guess, since he's actually noticing her and or like
big old smile.
Yeah, I got a big old smile out of her. So that was really nice. It was a nice way to wrap that up.
And the end of the episode was interesting because then we go back to the 50s again. We see Mary running through the woods, getting all the feathers and stuff off her, and she's crying. And she runs into a good-looking dude on a motorcycle, and he's just like, you need a ride? So she's all happy, hops on, and they drive off. So it's kind of like she gets a happy ending, so she didn't become like the brooding monster that everyone thought she did. She just left town. But here's the thing. They did say she was never seen again. So I can only assume this guy on the motorcycle like murdered her, right? Like, like that dude killed her, right?
I'm pretty sure that wasn't what was implied, but you know what? We'll just run with that. Sure.
I mean, we're going to use context clues. She's dead. She dead.
Is that the context clue? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
she's so dead.
Okay. So third episode we watched for today's show was A Family Crisis, season 1, episode 18, which was the highest rated. In this one, a surprise birthday party for Octus is interrupted by a distress call from, of all people, Solomon. He needs help fighting a creature made up out of pure lightning aboard an abandoned space station. These are kind of interesting, the way that these are written, because
I was about to say, who wrote these? Come on. It's not our usual standards. You know, it's not Kenneth doing it.
They're close to what the show's about, or to what the episodes are about, but they're not quite there.
I like this a lot because in this episode, we see Lance's shell really kind of break and him come through it, because he's just so brooding all the time, and that's just such an easy archetype. Even though I did like his character in the last episode that we watched, it's still such a stereotype, and that was really, I feel like, broken here, and we got to really see what makes him more human, because it's basically like him and Ilana having a surprise birthday for Octus, who is like taking on dad form at the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's appropriate because I think they really do think of him as a father figure in that way.
Basically, yeah.
And like Lance is really softened up. Like they made a cake for him. He's singing a song and playing guitar for him and stuff. And I'm just like, wow, this is not the Lance from like several episodes ago at all. So this is very interesting. Oh man. Well, I mean, we'll get to the part towards the end, but Lance has the heaviest moment of this entire show, as far as I can tell. And man, it drove home to me big time.
Let me tell you, that reminded me a lot of that issue of the Batman comic without words.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew it.
Because that's what it was.
When Damian died.
We'll talk about it. But
that's the catchphrase for our show, by the way. We'll talk about it, or we'll get there.
Because we get ahead of ourselves and we can't quite talk about it yet. Yeah. Yeah, so they're throwing a birthday party, and then like that's going really nicely. They give him slippers, sunglasses, and they're just thanking him for being who he is. I think this is like this is their anniversary of their first year on Earth. So basically, he was created a year ago at this point.
Yeah, so it's like his activation day or birthday or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and then I like you were saying, Lance's interaction here where he's talking about, he's trying to thank him, but, you know, he's Lance and he's the dark brooding guy. She's just like, you're, you know. And he's just like, thanks, Lance. Yeah. And so, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So that at that point, though, Solomon does interrupt and reaches out for help because we see earlier in the episode kind of what's going on with him, where this like creature of pure energy, not lightning, just pure energy, is like attacking he and his crew and kind of cornering him. And so he's sending out a distress signal to try to get some help.
So, of course, Lance doesn't want to help him because Solomon's been a foe of theirs in the past. But Alana is just like, you know, we need to help. And Octus agrees. And that's why I want to know more about that character, because I want to know why it is that Alana and Octus are ready to help. Like, I get Lance not wanting to, like, even if this guy ever, like, stole a Pokemon card from him, like, he would be like, no, let him die.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to know more about what he's done to get at least on a neutral side with the others. It's just he's just an intriguing character, honestly. So they go into space.
I like where they were, when they were talking about it, they were discussing whether they should go or not, and Lance is against it, yeah. But then everyone else is like, they're agreeing with them. They're like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but we need to help him. And like when they're just like, okay, let's go. He's just like, I like how everyone agrees with me, but we're still doing this.
Yeah, that was pretty good. They're just doing what's right.
Yeah.
But when they get to space, when they get to that space station or ship or whatever, where that thing is draining everything, dude, that environment, the design of it all was amazing. It reminded me of something out of like Alien or Sunshine. I was really getting a Sunshine vibe. Sunshine's one of my favorite sci-fi horror films ever. Mm-hmm. It just felt so empty and brooding and just unnerving.
It was very like Dead Space vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing had to be there. Like you didn't have to have a creature. Just being there was scary. And I liked that a lot. It just looked so good. And we started, because they did the birthday for Octus, and because the other characters, Lance and Alana, at some point they start having flashbacks of moments with him that I guess they hold as kind of dear moments. I'm like, okay, so something terrible is going to happen, right? Like this is going to go bad.
There's no way this is going to be a happy ending.
Yeah. And then as soon as it's revealed that this creature is draining energy, and they're like, that means he could drain Octus, I was like, uh-oh.
Specifically, they're saying, like, yes, it can drain energy, but to the point where it's permanently gone. Like, so if Octus gets drained, there will be no way to revive him.
Yeah, and even like the creature gets his leg at one point. They get away, but he's trying to send other energy from his system into that appendage, and it won't work, and he's doing it over and over and over again. And honestly, just the look on everybody's faces really tells the story of like how bad of a situation they're in now.
Oh yeah.
And they know what's coming. And I was just like, oh dude, this is heartbreaking. This is going to hurt so bad when this happens. I know it.
And it gets so close to not happening. And for a split second, I was like, oh, okay, it's fine.
Solomon was really helping them, though, which was another surprise.
I was half expecting a betrayal based on the way it was going. Yeah.
I expected a betrayal, but he hardcore was trying to help them. Someone else also got Solomon's signal in the ship and came to pick them all up. And they're getting out of there. They're all in the ship. And as Lance is being pulled up, because he's the last one going up, this energy creature destroys the rope that he's using and he falls in. So Octus jumps in to save him and boom.
Impaled.
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just destroyed by this thing. And oh man, everything after that was just so rough. Even like Solomon, like I said, like, he immediately, without hesitation, one, he goes down there, he grabs Lance and Octus's, little, I don't know what you call it, mainframe or whatever, that little circular thing, pulls it up into the ship, and without saying a word, is immediately trying to shoot energy back into it, but it's just not working. And then, oh man,
this is
Lance.
where it gets like real sad and intense because it's playing this music. And there's no audio out of like, you can't hear the people at all. And you see Lance just screaming. That's why I say it reminds me of that Batman comic, because it's exactly the same way. It's like there's no words. It's just expression. And then you see him like go to man the guns, the lasers on the ship. And he is just like trying to blast that thing out of the sky just out of pure rage.
Yeah.
And sends everything and then just like shoots off the missiles and everything at it. And so it's like there's nothing left of this energy beast or the space station it was aboard. And all they're left with is like this silence, this solitude, and then Octus's shell.
And then it just ends.
Yeah.
Then that's just the episode.
And there are only 2 more episodes after this of the show.
I know.
It's like,
and
does he come back? I don't know. I hope so.
I was so upset. So I started Googling to read it. I don't think he comes back. They try, but I don't think they're successful.
Man.
I mean, they maybe in the very last episode they're able to, but like, reading the descriptions, I know they're trying to bring him back in the episode after that, but they're also trying to bring him back in the very last episode when something else happens.
Oh,
so
geez.
I don't know if they actually get him back. So that might just be it. And I was just like, man. But yeah, that moment with Lance was like, I'm gonna remember that because that was one of the most impactful pieces of animation that I've seen in a long time. Definitely one of the most impactful I've seen this year so far.
What I do know is that they had 10 more episodes written for after episode 20, but obviously it got canceled because of the toy thing, and so they couldn't continue it. So somewhere in those 10 episodes, I have hope that Octus is revived.
That's rough, dude. It hit pretty hard.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our inner kids over to show Octus what a real burp sounds like, then see what they thought of Sym-Bionic Titan.
The show was a lot of fun with all the aliens and robots, but Ilana and Lance were kind of boring at first. Luckily, Octus was there to make the show fun, until his horrible death. But I still gave this cartoon 4.5 bowls of Fire Kaiju cereal out of 5.
Have I seen aliens being forced to escape their home planet and coexist on Earth before? Yes. Have I seen teens driving mechs? Also yes. Have I seen multiple mechs merge into a single larger mech when things get tough? So many times, yes. However, it's executed so well in this show, along with the elements of high school drama, that the sum of its parts actually managed to meet and at times exceed the shows that came before. On top of all that, the action scenes were awesome, the primary characters were all likable, and the humor was on point. Octus had me cracking up just about every time he was on screen. Overall, I'd give Sym-Bionic Titan 5 big bowls of heart, body, and mind cereal out of 5, and I highly recommend you symbiotically merge yourself with the couch to binge watch this fantastic show.
You know, it is a really good time to just binge stuff anyway. So, I mean, it's not like you have an excuse not to.
Yeah, where are you going to go?
Yeah, oh, yeah, what else are you doing anyway?
And this is on Netflix, actually, so it's actually a great time and a great place to watch it.
That's perfect. Yeah, as far as the show goes, it really impressed me. I didn't give it the 5 because I feel like I need to know more about it. It wasn't a perfect show for me, but it was very, very close. The art style was really awesome. I had a little bit of trouble at first separating what I know about Gennedy's typical cartoons from this one, because I'm looking at it and it looks like the stuff that I'm used to from him, but this has a lot more seriousness to it than some of his other things. So at first that was hard for me to kind of get over as far as a hurdle, but I quickly did, and man, the creatures were amazing looking. The fights were fantastic, and then the character growth and development that took place were amazing. They did such a wonderful job of making me like these characters. I would think out of the three, the only one I don't feel that connected to right now is Ilana, but with Lance and especially Octus, that is those characters just, I felt like they grew so much, and it really, like, I felt like that pain at the end of that episode where Octus was lost and Lance was just losing himself and like you said, like a fit of rage, just destroying this thing. And man, it was just so impactful. I love the amount of emotion that they were able to put into these three aliens and how they grew into this close family before just ripping it apart at the end. It was just so impressive to me, especially for something that I had barely known anything about to begin with.
Yeah, it ended up having so much heart to it in a surprising way because you don't really get any kind of feel for it out of the first episode. So I get that.
Exactly.
I get where you're coming from. But for me, there's just so much potential to it. Even if we only saw the 3 episodes, I liked it so much that I had to give it a 5 because it was just everything that I wanted it to be. And I'm also a huge fan of like Japanese mech shows. And obviously the inspirations are all there from originating from those. And so just based on that and the heart it had to it, the characters, and just how funny it was, like in such like an offbeat kind of way, it was so charming to me. I had to give it a 5, and I'm definitely going to watch the rest of it, especially because it's so short. And I've heard there's even rumor of it being, after we saw the relaunch or kind of the rebooting of Samurai Jack, that there's rumors that this might be able to come back too. I don't know how old those rumors are, so that might not be true at all, but here's hoping.
I mean, if they do it, I'm on board to watch it, and I would be on board to kind of give like a follow-up episode too, honestly, just to kind of see where it goes, and then because the story, like I said, it's not a perfect story, but there's so many intriguing factors about it. They've got characters that are just so mysterious and intriguing, and we just saw this cliffhanger that's like, okay, I have to know if this character is going to come back.
So thank you, Greed1347, for suggesting this to us, and also for not being a bot, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, here's the thing. I don't have anything against robots. They will be our overlords at some point. But yeah, I do appreciate when we run into a real human on SoundCloud. So thank you very much for that.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry. So it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, we'll be watching.
All right, buddy, I'm going to have you pick a number between I want to hit some of those guys that never ever probably will see the light of day unless we do this. I want you to pick a number between 75 and 200.
Oh, boy. All right. So 75 to 200. I'm going to say 89.
So with 89 as the number you have chosen, we'll be watching Eek the Cat, suggested via Reddit by MF Mad and via Twitter by @HaribalMoore.
Eek the Cat, man. I remember that show. I just haven't seen it in so long. It'll
I know.
Be weird watching it again.
I have not thought about that show in forever.
Serious? I forgot that show existed. So this will be a fun adventure.
Remember the Thunder Lizards that I think were part of
the terrible Thunder Lizards?
Yeah. Wasn't that like an offshoot of Eek the Cat? Like they ended up with their own show?
Was it an offshoot? I don't know.
So.
Maybe we'll see. Let's find out.
I think Eek the Cat eventually became Extravaganza, and then I think they were a segment of that show.
Oh,
remember
yeah. That I do. I remember Extravaganza.
Yeah, dude.
So, man, maybe there's a whole like Eek universe.
There's a whole
that we
Eek
weren't aware
universe.
of.
They did it before the Avengers, man.
Eek did it first. Once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.